Hey there, welcome to Feminine Founder. I'm Caroline Pennington, your host. Thanks for joining in. So today we're going to be talking about a topic that is near and dear to my heart. We're going to be going through the appropriate rounds of interviews based on the level of experience. These concepts and processes can apply to you, whether or not you own a small business, or have a large business that you are recruiting on behalf of. The same steps, the same processes are applicable to all the above. So I see so many times companies are inconsistent with their processes, or they don't have a process at all of what the interview process looks like at their organization. So my suggestion here would be to implement a process. Even if you're just starting out your startup environment, having that process laid out will add towards a better candidate experience and will help towards you attracting better talent to your company. So entry-level positions, in my opinion, should be 1 to 2 rounds max. If we are doing 2 rounds, one interview is a phone interview and the second is potentially a virtual on-site. So that phone interview counts as one interview. For these positions, I suggest we keep those. If you are interviewing for an admin assistant, a paralegal, an HR assistant, a real estate assistant, property manager, if you're in the healthcare space, an LPN or front desk associate, if you're in the IT space, an IT specialist, data entry professional, or a marketing assistant, those are all in the categories of entry level in my professional opinion. So max 1 to 2 interviews, period. Do not go any more than that for that level of candidate. You will be dragging out the interview process way too long and you will lose them. All right, mid-level candidates. These candidates have a manager or above manager or director title within their job description or within the title of their position. So my professional opinion here is keep those interviews 2 to 3 max. My professional opinion would be let's do a phone interview with them first, then bring them on site to meet the rest of the team. Around 2, if you absolutely have to do around 3, maybe this person needs to meet with the CEO, the founder, CFO, or whatnot, and their schedules are busy. Absolute max 3 rounds. And again, I would keep it to 1 phone, 2 on site or virtual. Titles for these types of positions would range between customer service manager, marketing manager, HR director, tax manager, tax director, accounting manager, finance manager, IT manager. If we're talking about from the manufacturing side of things, plant manager, operations manager, engineering manager. If we're going into this professional services like law firms, I would stick to maybe an administration manager, an associate attorney. And then in the healthcare space, if you're talking about maybe a very specific type of RN you need to hire or a nurse manager, keep it again max 2 to 3 interviews here. All right, then that takes us to the next step, which is the C-suite. So this is the executive level. We're talking about titles of CEO, CFO, COO, VP level. I would keep those 3 to 4 rounds absolute max. A lot of times with these types of positions, we get involved in a relocation that's necessary, and perhaps we have the candidate with their spouse come, do a dinner with the team, come do a tour of the area. That's fine. Just make that the absolute very last step, and at the absolute max, that should be 4. Here's why. The more steps you include in the interview process, the more of a chance you have that you will lose the candidates. I've seen this happen time and time in my 15 years of experience here, is companies will come back and say, oh, we have one more interview. We want this person to meet, XYZ VP or executive, or, so-and-so was on vacation and didn't get to meet you when you came on site. Well, what that means is this person has to go back to their current employer and request additional PTO time off to accommodate that next step that's asked. And they may or may not even get the offer. So the more you extend this out, the more likely that you will lose the candidate. Not to mention the candidate most likely is actively interviewing with other companies as well. In my experience, I would say 98% of candidates that are interviewing with your organization and they're interviewing with other people as well. So again, it's good to be cognizant of employees taking time off, to make the interview rounds as concise as possible. I would say too, one thing I see a lot is sometimes we'll have a candidate come on site, and again, maybe one person can't make it. If they are on vacation or out of the office, out of the country, whatnot, see if they can Zoom in or remote in, even if it's for 5-10 minutes to lay eyes on the person. That way, they will have been able to be included in the interview, and you won't have to ask the candidate to come back an additional time. So make sure that's really important, especially with spring break and the holidays and vacations and summertime coming up. The more thorough and concise that you can make these interviews happen, the better your chance will be to getting the candidate of your choice. So I hope you guys enjoyed today. I appreciate you listening in, and talk to you soon.